The former government's copped a lot of flack on a range of fronts, but one thing they did do and deliver for the ag sector was the ag visa. The former minister, your shadow, David Littleproud, says the NFF are cowards for not standing up for that reform. Why don't you try and pull every lever possible, including having an ag visa?
Well, I probably have to pick you up there a little bit, Kieran. I mean, you're right that the government announced an ag visa, but they never delivered it. And this is the problem, is that for all of the talk from David Littleproud and others in his government that they would deliver an ag visa and lots of workers, they didn't deliver a single worker as a result of that ag visa.
Vietnam had signed up,
and that was partially because they were divided.
But Vietnam had signed up, Indonesia likely to as well.
Well, Vietnam had signed up, and we've said that we would honour that because it's a concluded agreement, but not one worker actually came here. And that was partly because the government itself was divided on that. You had David Littleproud for it, you had Maurice Payne and other ministers against it. So it's no wonder it didn't work. I mean, what we've said we will do is deliver things that will actually deliver workers, expanding and strengthening the PALM scheme, the Pacific Labour Scheme, which has been a successful source of labour for our farms over many years. We want to expand that and bring more people here. We do want to invest more in training Australians for local careers, and we want to increase the migration cap. So we think those are practical steps which will actually deliver rather than just more talk, which is what we always got from David Littleproud.
But when you look at these gaps,
comments about the NFF,
if you've got 170,000, yeah, well, you can comment further on that in a moment, but I just want to know, where do you feel this gap? Because if it's around 170,000, the hole in the workforce, and the Pacific program, that's not going to fill the 170,000 either. So don't you, I go back to that point, need to be pulling every lever possible? How many workers will you be bringing in with the Pacific program, for example?
Well, in addition to those who are already here, the current estimates are that there's about 40,000 Pacific Island workers who are vetted and ready to come here. So we want to get as many of them in as we can, as quickly as possible. As I say, we've already committed to increasing the migration cap, whether it be for the whole country or regional Australia. We're fast-tracking the processing of visas for people who are still waiting for their visas to be approved. And we're going to be speeding up the delivery of those training places. So, you know, we think that those things will make a very big difference. But the reality is, Kieran, that agriculture is not the only industry with a massive worker shortage. This is what happens when you have a government that doesn't invest in training, that allows visa applications to just back up, and we are doing everything we possibly can to speed that up.
Do you agree with Dan Walton, the AWU National Secretary, who says that, unfortunately, on the ag visa issue, he was talking at a Senate committee earlier in the year, he says exploitation is now a core part of many farmers' business model. He says the visa is dangerous and would pave the way for even more exploitation. Do you agree with him on that? Is that why you don't want it in place?
Well, the sad fact is that there has been exploitation of some workers in some agriculture industries with some agriculture employers, and that's why another important step that we've taken forward is to strengthen the protections of workers, whether it be in agriculture or other industries. We went to the elections saying that we would deliver a national labour hire licensing regime, which will really try to stamp out the rogue operators in the system, along with a range of other reforms to tighten those protections. Because when I speak to farmers, they want their industry being seen in the best positive light, and they are let down by the people who do the wrong thing and give the industry a bad name. And I think, as I say, I think that we can deliver a system which is good for farmers, good for rural communities, and good for workers in the system. That's what we should all be working towards, and it's a bit of a shame that the opposition just wants to sit on the sidelines and throw rocks.
And just almost out of time, less than a minute left, but are we all going to have to pay higher prices now for the goods and the food we eat? Because a lot of farmers are reducing their output because they can't get the workers.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt that the shortage of agricultural workers that we've seen over the last couple of years has contributed to those higher fruit and vegetable costs at the checkout. There's other factors as well, whether it be global factors or the floods that we saw in Australia, which wiped out crops as well. That's why it's in all of our interest to try to tackle this agriculture workforce shortage. It's something the last government should have done and should have tried harder, and it's something we're certainly trying very hard. I'm very confident that these new measures that will flow from the summit, which will will start now will make a difference. And of course, this working group has the opportunity to cooperatively come up with solutions for the future.
Agriculture Minister Murray Watt, thanks and all the best for Father's Day. Appreciate it.
You too, Kieran. Have a good day.